One's ready. One's ready. Go! So you guys are going into Special Warfare Assessment Selection. It is an attributes-based selection model. What does that mean?
Guys, are we running right now to get fitter? Or are we practicing running? Practicing.
I can't freaking...
So there's a holistic picture that we're looking for. The instructors are giving you input, and we're expecting an output. And everything is for a reason. If you guys haven't heard my spiel yet, everything that we do, every single exercise, has a connection to the job that you're trying to do. We don't want people at INDOC, Special Warfare Assessment Selection, whatever they're gonna call the new course when it inevitably changes somewhere down the road. I don't care what they call it. What I need is you to show me the raw materials for the things that I wanna build you into. Just like everything else, it's a crawl, walk, run.
I can run a keystone just like this. All the way to ATC, you never quit. All the way to ATC, you never quit.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the One's Ready podcast. You're in the team room. This is your daily drop for the 18th of August, brought to you by Tasty Gains. Head over to tastygains.com. Get yourself some creatine gummies. They also have nootropic capsules. They have hydration powders, and they've got pre-workout stuff. So everything that you need to get your mind right and get into the game so that you don't fail your IFT on the very first day. That's right. I'm still on this train. You failed on the very first day. Like, come on. Anyway, creatine not only helps you with your muscular endurance and growth, but also will help cognitive, abilities and that kind of stuff. So should be taking 12 to 15 grams of creatine every day. And that's what Tasty Gains is there for. They are third-party tested, so you are getting exactly what they advertise and exactly what they tell you. I've seen the certificate. I've got the lab reports. They've got another one coming out too, just to really show it, so you don't have to worry about them. All right, on to the joint news. Amphibious Ready Group deployment. The Department of Defense announced a deployment of Iwo Jima Amphibious Readiness Group, which includes over 4,500 sailors and Marines. This force consists of amphibious assault ships, landing craft, and embarked Marine Expeditionary Unit trained for global crisis response. Its mission is to enhance forward presence and provide rapid response options for combatant commanders worldwide. You know, I always thought that this is kind of funny, and I know we've got some Marines that listen to us, so this is going to be a shot at you guys. But I always find it funny that the news, right, your traditional media news, whenever there's a conflict or something like that going on, they always go, oh my God, they're sending the Marines. Like the Marines are the only ones that are able to actually to do things. And, like they're the ones that are like come in and save the day for whatever reason. That's what the media thinks. But, and the Marines, not to throw too much shade at you guys, you absolutely do a fantastic job for what you are trained for and what you're expected to do. So as much as I want to give you guys shit, you guys do a good job. So, all right, next, record female enlistment rates. The DoD reported record high enlistment rates for women across service branches. Officials credit new outreach campaigns, mentorship programs, and support initiatives for driving the increase. The rise reflects broader efforts to diversify the force and improve retention of female service members. Moving on. Next, airborne history milestone. The DoD commemorated the 85th anniversary of the United States Airborne Volunteers. This milestone highlights how airborne tactics reshaped combat during World War II and evolved into foundation of modern special operations and global response capabilities. Damn, dude, 85 years of jumping out of planes. That's pretty cool. National Guard assault intervention. A District of Columbia National Guard soldier stopped an assault at the National Mall while on duty. The intervention underscores the Guard's community presence and dual state federal role in both defense and domestic support operations. Kudos to that dude. Next, future long-range assault aircraft. the U.S. Army introduced its Future Long-Range Assault Aircraft, a tilt-rotor platform with extended range and speed compared to the UH-60 Blackhawk. Developed using digital engineering and soldier feedback, the aircraft is part of the Future Vertical Lift program to modernize Army aviation. Okay, tilt-rotor. Have we learned nothing from the CV-22 and the MV-22? We're still trying to play with this tilt-rotor stuff. Like, I get it. We've got better technology now. It's probably a better design. I'm sure it is a better design. But would you skimp on parts like the planetary gear system, or the planetary gearbox, if you want to call it that, right? That's probably the correct term for it. And it starts having chips in the transmission and the gearbox, and then, crashes and kills a bunch of people numerous times. Like, maybe tilt-rotor isn't the best route. And I understand why you guys are doing it, but also, the FSOC had MH-53s, which were an incredible platform. Incredible, right? And I love seeing that the Marines are still flying them. They fly the Echo model, if I remember right. Whereas I think the Air Force should have gone, instead of going with the CV-22s, the Air Force should have gone, continued with the MH-53s, and just updated it to the X-ray model, which was, better blades, better engines, remove all the outdated crap, because any of my 53 homies out there know this. Instead of taking things off of the MH-53, all the wiring and all the old racks and stuff like that, they would just add more racks. So they would just, instead of taking weight away, they would just add more and add more and add more, which made it extremely heavy. So all that to say, bring back the MH-53. Next, Carrier Strike Group returns. The USS Carl Vinson Carrier Strike Group returns to San Diego after a 9-month deployment in the Indo-Pacific region. Welcome back. Next, Northern Edge 2025 kicks off across Alaska. The U.S. Indo-Pacific Command launched Northern Edge 2025, a large-scale training event in Alaska. More than 6,000 personnel, 100 aircraft, and 7 ships are participating. The exercise integrates joint forces and allied militaries in multi-domain scenarios to improve combat readiness. Dude, the other day, did you guys see that where President Trump and Vladimir Putin were walking, and then just gets a show of force, essentially, or a flyby, whatever you guys want to call it. In reality, it was a show of force with B-52 or B-2, and I think, if I remember right, I think it was 4 F-35s, or maybe it was 2 F-35s and 2 F-22s. I don't remember off the top of my head, but like, dude, wow. What a massive, massive message you are sending to the world, and especially to Russia. I don't know what'll come out of it, but whoa. All right, next. DoD announces major contract actions. The DoD issued daily updates on contract obligations, including a $635.2 million ammunition procurement for the U.S. Army. Other awards cover maintenance, technology, and services in support of ongoing programs and global operations. $635 million for munitions for the Army. I wonder what the Air Force's amount of that was, because, or not amount of that, because that's just for the Army. I wonder what the Air Force's amount is, because I can tell you that we are not sitting as pretty when it comes to munition stockpiles as you would like as the taxpayer or an American that just wants their homeland to be safe. So that's about all I'll go into about that. But like, I hope we got more money than that, because we're going to need more money than that to get back to what we need to be. All right, these are Air Force news, or this is Air Force news. Permanent change of station budget pause. U.S. Air Force temporarily paused certain permanent change of station or PCS moves due to budget constraints. Priority cases such as hardship or mission critical relocations continue unaffected. Officials are seeking solutions to restore normal PCS activity before the year's end. I've actually seen this before. This has happened a couple of times, couple of years when you get really close to the end of the fiscal year, which is that last day of September and the first day of October. Like money gets tight. Money's tight right now for the DoD. And so I've seen this where they've put a pause or a delay on PCSs. It's kind of, it's a different pot of money, but it is along the same lines of why they stopped the SRB, golly, why am I having a brain fart on it? It's like a signing reenlistment bonus. It's not signing though. Selective retention bonus. They put a pause on it. It's not like it's been canceled forever. It's just been paused for the rest of the fiscal year. So hopefully they will reenact it or reinstate it rather, in October in the new FY, but we'll see. I haven't seen any email traffic on that or memos out on that yet. Next, F-16 augmented reality integration. The U.S. Air Force awarded a contract to field augmented reality training systems for F-16 Fighting Falcons. The integration enables immersive tactical simulation while in flight, reducing costs compared to live fire exercises and improving readiness for complex missions. Next, Indo-Pacific logistics exercise. Air Mobility Command led agile logistics drills in the Indo-Pacific region during the Department Level Exercise 2025 series. These events showcase rapid deployment of mobility assets in coordination with allies, ensuring the ability to sustain operations in contested regions. Next, readiness exercise at Hill Air Force Base. The 75th Air Base Wing conducted a readiness exercise simulating combat generation requirements. Scenarios tested emergency response, deployment procedures, and sustainment under austere conditions. The drills validated the base's ability to maintain a combat-ready posture. All right, on to Space Force news. X-37 Bravo Mission 8 preparations. The U.S. Space Force and Air Force Rapid Capabilities Office completed preparations for the X-37 Bravo Orbital Test Vehicle's 8th mission. The launch will test advanced payloads, including laser communications and quantum sensors. Really? We've got quantum sensors? We don't have quantum computers yet, but we've got quantum sensors? Oh, that's pretty wild. Anyway, quantum sensors as part of reusable spacecraft development. Man, Space Force is doing some wild shit out here. And in a good way. All right, next, new dress and appearance policy. U.S. Space Force published Space Force Instruction 362903 to consolidate uniform and grooming standards. The policy formalizes guardian identity, harmonizing appearance rules while distinguishing them from the Air Force regulations. Harmonizing appearance? Okay. Next, System Delta activation. Space Systems Command stood up Systems Delta 85 to manage battle management, command control, communications, and space intelligence. BMC3I is what they're calling it. This reorganization aligns acquisition and operational responsibilities to speed delivery of space capabilities. Next, Deep Space Radar Demo completion. The Deep Space Advanced Radar capability completed a successful demonstration using a multi-antenna array to track geosynchronous objects. The milestone is part of efforts to provide persistent all-weather space domain awareness for the U.S. and allies. Next, GPS receiver field exercise. The Space Force conducted field exercises with Joint Modernization handheld GPS receiver tested day and night with Allied and Joint Forces. Feedback will inform improvements for warfighter resilience against GPS jamming and spoofing. If you guys don't know what GPS jamming and spoofing is, GPS jamming is kind of obvious. They jam the signal. You don't actually know where you're at. And your GPS isn't able to get signal. And then spoofing means that there is an entity that is telling your GPS that you are somewhere else than where you actually are. And so it's tricking the GPS into thinking that it is receiving signal, because it technically is receiving signal. It's just the location and elevation data that is being provided that your GPS is displaying is incorrect. All right. Of interest, Undersecretary of the Air Force Matthew Lomer announced visits to the United States Air Force Academy and Space Force installations. The trip will focus on leadership reviews, guardian development, and cadet mentorship. Ooh, I wonder when this is actually happening. Aaron and I and Trent talked about this, I believe yesterday, that, the superintendent of the United States Air Force Academy is kind of been put on notice about some of the things that he's doing and about some of the things that he has done in the past. And we haven't highlighted it because we're kind of playing it close to our heart, or cards close to our chest, but we're already tracking that Lomer has visibility on some of the things that he has done and said. So we're hoping that maybe with this visit, he gets yoinked out of that seat and fired and forced to retire, because people like that need to go away and not serve. All right, presidential multilateral meeting. President Trump met with European leaders to discuss NATO defense cooperation. Topics included burden sharing, modernization, and aligning strategies against peer adversaries. Next, bilateral meeting with Ukraine. President Trump also held a bilateral meeting with Ukraine's President Zelensky. Talks emphasize U.S. security assistance, intelligence cooperation, and regional stability in Eastern Europe. Man, maybe one day we can get this whole thing to an end. Orbital aircraft carrier concept. Reports surfaced of a potential orbital aircraft carrier developed by a private firm in partnership with the Space Force. The concept envisions satellite deployment for orbiting platforms, but it remains speculative and unconfirmed by official sources. Okay, this is probably the wrong concept for this. I'm just guessing, I'm thinking out loud. But if you remember in Avengers, Age of Ultron, where Tony Stark, Iron Man, had put that kind of orbital, the way I see it, I guess, an orbital carrier out in space, and it was in low Earth orbit. I'm guessing that was low Earth orbit. I actually have no idea. And whenever he could call it, it would send things down to the planet, and Hulk ended up using that. He used it first to trap Hulk and control him, but then, like they ended up using that a lot. So I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's not. Who knows? All right, but that's your news for today. That is your OS brief. You have been fully briefed now, and we'll go about there. These are still things that I have found online, so I'm doing my own research to try and find these. That's why there's kind of limited details in it. So it's not like it's being provided by public affairs or anything like that, because I still can't get access to that anymore. But anyway, I do appreciate you guys being here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and like Aaron said, go on to Apple Podcasts, leave us a review, make it funny, or have ChatGPT or Grok write it for you. I don't care. And then we're going to do a giveaway. And then hopefully you're going to enjoy episode 500 that's going to come out on Friday. All right, we're out here. Later. See you.